Hi everyone, thanks for watching my video. If you've got 7 minutes, I've got 7 steps on how to stay motivated during challenging times. I call it Kate's kick-ass strategy on bringing on your A game. And these are the same techniques used by high-performing athletes all across the world, also used by the Navy SEALs, and I've borrowed them myself and used them. As a 2-time English Channel swimmer, they worked for me, so I promise you, these are great. So let's get started. I'm going to ask you to visualize something with me just for a moment. It's the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio, and we're watching Michael Phelps. Okay, he's there. This is his 5th Olympics, which in and of itself is crazy. But he's there and he's already won 4 gold medals and he's striving for a 5th. The pressure is high and then the stress level you can imagine. And so there he is. It's about 5 minutes before he's about to jump off the block and the cameras roll around and we see him in the background with his hood up. He's got his headphones on and he's got that death stare that broke Twitter. Yeah, you can Google that. It's a pretty bad death stare. So he's there and everyone's wondering, first of all, who is he looking at? And then everyone else also wants to know, what is he listening to and what is he doing? Well, it turns out he was listening to Eminem and Young Jeezy. And he really wasn't looking at anybody. He was just getting his game face on and he was getting himself in the zone. Super important as an athlete. And coaches and athletes know this and they take the time to get themselves in the zone. But it's always amazing to me how little this has trickled into the business world. So what I'd like to do today is show you some steps, my 7-step kick-ass method on how to get your A game on. Okay, so first of all, what you're gonna need is you're gonna need a piece of paper and a pen because you probably wanna take some notes, and I'd like you to write kick-ass down the side of the paper, just like that, okay? So go grab that and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So now you have your piece of paper with the kick-ass written down the side. We're gonna start with the letter K. Letter K is know yourself well. These are your values, your personal philosophy statement, your strong convictions. It's always amazing to me how few people have taken the time to figure these things out for themselves. But the benefit is, once you really know these things and you know yourself so well, it becomes much easier to align them with the decisions you're making and the life choices you're making. So start here. This becomes a very natural first step. Okay, then moving on to the letter I, identify your authentic strengths. Again, so much research out there, especially in the last few years, has shown that there's strengths blindness out there. Over 80% of the people have never taken the time to consider their strengths. And without this, we really don't know how then to maximize our strengths if they don't know what they are. So I encourage you all to think about what your strengths are. And more than just taking a test. Tests are good, but then once you've taken the test, take some time to really own those strengths and identify with them. It becomes very important. Okay, finally, the C. This is you're going to be creating a greatest hits album for yourself. I love this part. So imagine your favorite album. There's like 4 or 5 tracks on each side. You're going to be building an album of wins for yourself. Athletes do this all the time. Past successes, they're going to put it on their greatest hits album. Then they're going to play those tracks through their mind as they're about to go do that new and challenging thing. Oh, we can do this too in business. And again, it's always amazing to me like how few of us do it in business. Build a playlist of wins and know them so well, just like you do your favorite album. And then when you're about to do that next new challenging thing, you've got that whole playlist ready to go. I did that, I can do this, right? That's the mindset. Okay, moving on to K, keep adding tracks, right? You're not just gonna build your album, put it up on the shelf and let it collect dust. No. Every day you're thinking, was that a win? Does that go on my greatest hits album? Maybe it does. Hey, I just swam in the lake today. I just did 30 minutes. Does that go? Yeah, maybe it does. I avoided the sea lions or whatever it was in the bay. Whatever it is, think about yourself. Like, does this belong on my greatest hits album? And then keep adding those tracks to it so it stays fresh and stays relevant. Okay, then moving on to A, we're gonna anchor on excellence. And this becomes so easy to do once you have your greatest hits album, because anchoring on excellence becomes so important when you're faced with those down days, those slumps, those like, I don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning or I'm not motivated. we're going to anchor on excellence. We're going to remember who we are, what we stand for, what our wins are, and the person that we are. Now, moving on to the last two S's, this is perfect because now after you've completed those first 5 steps, you're in the right frame of mind to do the next 2 things, and that is set goals and strive for goals. I separate them out because they're 2 totally different things. You're in the right mindset now to set excellent goals for yourself. Research also shows that there's a lot of psychological barriers to setting really good goals. So what we need to do is do those first 5 steps first, get ourselves in the right frame of mind, set some excellent goals. Then the striving for those goals comes when you're really thinking about on a day-to-day basis, what can I do to move myself one step further towards that goal? And remember, you're going to have short-term goals, maybe something in 2 weeks. You're going to have something in 6 months. And then you might have those long-term goals, 5 years out. So you're going to have all different lengths of goals, but that striving is a daily activity. Now, this is the part usually when people will hit some obstacles and they'll hit some challenges. And at this point, sometimes it becomes tempting to throw in the towel and say, I didn't want to do that anyway. Believe me, I've had plenty of days where I did not want to swim, and I did not want to swim the English Channel and didn't want to train, and it was cold and rainy and it was a December miserable day, and I thought, what am I doing here? I'm going to throw in the towel. And then staying committed, that striving every day, remembering my greatest hits, remembering my strengths, remembering my values, all of that just keeps you going. So setting and striving. Now, when those obstacles hits, that's when you go all the way back to number 1 again. And you say, okay, I remember who I am. I remember my values. I remember my strong convictions. And it becomes easier to stay on track once you've done that work. So this is what your sheet's going to look like when you're finished. And you're going to go through all those steps. When you hit some roadblocks on the striving, you're just going to go right back to number 1, like I said. Okay, so good luck. I've got a little gift for you too. And if you go to my website, which is groundedinstrength.com, fill out the contact form, and I'm giving away the first chapter of my book. And then I'm also giving away some special bonus consult sessions. So fill in that, and we'll be in touch soon. Okay, take care.